He's connecting. Correct.
Yeah, Emily said that she had to sign up for the webinar through the website and is waiting on the email now. I don't know why she didn't get an organizer link, maybe?
Should have a panelist link.
Yeah, let me see if I can forward her on.
I see her name there, so.
No.
Everybody.
Mark. The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hey, everybody. How we doing out there? Got the whole staff here from EAT to do our kind of year-end webinar, even though it's not quite year-end yet. We're not going to do any more still this year. We'll start January anew with some, because December is always a little bit tough of a month to get people focused, and so we just thought we'd go ahead and do this to have our year end and then go from there. So as you can see, we've got webcams on for myself and Areed and Sierra and Aaron. And do we have more? Because I'm just seeing the 4 right now. And Mark is probably on, and he's always shy. Mark probably doesn't have his webcam on.
No, Mark is not shy. He tried doing that, but his webcam is not working. It shows a yellow background thing, so it didn't work. And for Emily, I just sent the link to her and copied you, Sierra, so I think she should be able to get on.
Awesome. So, Areed, this is the first time you've had your webcam on since you probably are living in a little different location with your now family, and I don't know if everybody knows that, but Areed has been married now for a while, has a young baby. I know he just came on. But is it a different location? It looks like it, just in the background.
It's a completely different location, exactly. I think about a year back, I shifted from my old place to this one. My mom bought this place, basically I bought it using her money, but in 2015, and then we kind of rented it out. And my mom decided that when you will get married, we will shift. When it was firm that I will be getting married in like 2020, so we thought to shift, I think 2 months before that. So just before my wedding day, I think 2 months before that, we shifted here. And my brother, who is an electrical engineer, he kind of designed the whole thing, basically. So it's I'm really cozy and blessed to have this thing. So it was not like this. Yeah, we kind of changed. We did the roof and we did the paint. Then I bought these paintings. These are from my cousin. She painted all of them. So they're on the wall. So yeah, it's a beautiful place. I think I love it here.
And for all of our live attendees, as well as for those that will be watching this as a replay, Areed is in Pakistan, and it is either, I always forget when we change time, which we did recently, it's either 2 in the morning or 3 in the morning. Areed, what is it, 2 or 3? 2.
2.
And I'm assuming his wife and young, beautiful daughter, by the way, maybe we'll convince him to show us a picture here throughout that they're sleeping. So at least it's quiet at your place right now.
Yeah, so I think I recently told you that I joined a co-working place there just because my baby used to make a lot of noise in the night, and I used to get disturbed a lot because of that. So I decided to go there. But because she is to her mom's place for next I think, week or 10 days. It's quite, yeah, it's really quiet here right now, and we cannot hear any background noise. Mostly it's wah. So I will be able to show a picture soon. I think I need to find something here.
Cool.
I will do that.
So everybody, Reed has been with me as an associate, a partner, a friend for how long are we coming up on now, Reed?
We started in 2014, November 7th. And
so we are just past 7 years.
Exactly. I think there was 1 year, I think we didn't work. I had to, I think, go away, quit. And then I came back a year later. So I think 2014 to 15, and then we missed 16, and then jumped back on 17. Yeah. So there was
we
1
had already
year.
started EAT. Were you not here when we started EAT? Was it just Mark at that point?
No, at that point, when I rejoined, after 1 year gap, I think that's when EAT was already established. And I was given this job of finding these new people. And I think you always have the reference and connecting with them and trying to get them to do a series with us or a guest webinar. So probably in 2017, EAT was already established.
Okay. And Mark, I don't want to ignore you. I'm kind of going in seniority here. Mark's got to be getting close to 10 years of us being together, right, Mark? Will be 10. So we're 9, over 9. Wow, that's very cool. And for those, again, that don't know, Mark is in Bangladesh. And like I said, both Mark and Reed feel like sons to me. Mark and I both were really hoping that we could get to Reed for his marriage, for his wedding even, and we weren't able to get it done. Which, wasn't the pandemic started, or had you gotten married before the pandemic started?
No. Pandemic started in March 2020 for us here. I'm not sure about US, but it happened for us in March 2020. And we got married in November 2020. So it was in between the pandemic, and I think the restrictions were off at that time a little bit. Not that much, because I remember I had to cut down the guest list a lot. So at that time, I think, yeah, November was a bit better here. And then January of 2021, again, we had the restrictions on. So I was lucky enough to get an event out of it, but with less people. So it happened in COVID. A lot of people come and complain me that I didn't invite them. I was like, man, I had restrictions.
Yeah. That's a good excuse for the people you didn't want to invite.
And Mark has had a new child since we first started, and even his son, who was just really young, is now, what, is he 11 yet or 12, Mark? 13, oh man. So we're really getting up there. All right, well, before I go further, and I'm going to talk with Aaron and Emily and Sierra, just get you guys to get to know them too, because you hear about Sierra, and Sierra's actually hosted several webinars, but Emily and Aaron are actually more involved on our environmental side, but I'd like you to get to know them too. But before that, if you've got questions or comments, please put them in audience for anything. Anything is up for grabs, because what we're going to do is just a little bit more introduction here, and then we're going to start to talk about a little bit of what we did in 2021 for EAT, and then more importantly, we're going to talk about the future, what we're going to be doing, how hopefully we're going to continue, improve things, do all kinds of things moving forward. So let me move on to Sierra. Actually, Sierra, Aaron, and Emily all kind of started working with me about the same time, all on the environmental side of things, and all on one particular project in Ohio. And Sierra, why don't you give everybody the time frame of that.
Yeah, so it was March 2019 when I first started out in the Ohio site, working remotely with Wayne. And then when did Emily and Aaron, when did you guys, was it this March that you guys brought on?
March of 2020.
Yeah, March of 2020. Okay, so about a year gap in between us. And ever since, we've just been introduced to the e-community and, you know, taking it from there.
Awesome. And Sierra is also married, and her husband, and I was fortunate enough to be able to meet him. She's been out here. And then we also had a holiday party 2 years ago, Sierra, or was it even just last year out in Ohio when we went to Top?
No, I think it was the year before last. It was the year before last. That was so fun. I wish we were doing that again this year.
It was before the pandemic again. So
yeah.
And anyway, we went and played hit balls and had dinner and had a fun time at Top Golf near Cincinnati. And no kids for by the way, Mark has two for you guys. Serena has his youngest daughter and then his son. And like I said, wow, 13. And then we've talked about Elise, but Sierra is her and her husband. They've got a boat, so sometimes more work than a kid.
Yeah, and so I don't know if we will ever have time for kids.
And moving ahead, at least, and Arib has always been shy about having his webcam on before. I'm so glad you put it on here, Arib. But moving ahead, for one thing, in 2022, Sierra, we're going to share hosting more, where I do some, where Sierra and I and Mark do some, where Mark does some alone, and where I do some alone. But we'll spread that out. And then Arib will be there to help. And he can host too. He hosted the very last webinar we did, as a matter of fact.
I have done twice this year, so yeah, it was fun. The first one I was just so nervous, I was sweating. The last one I was quite easy, so it was fun.
So let's move on to Aaron, whose picture, at least on my screen, is the next there. So Aaron, why don't you tell everybody about yourself just a little bit, and again, you haven't been that involved with EAT, but moving ahead, you guys probably a bit more so. And just tell us what you're up to.
Well, I'm part of this team as well that work on the site that you spoke about. So we just monitor that the remediation systems are working correctly and do some report writing and things of that environmental nature. And that's about it, I guess. I really enjoy working with the team. It's been a great learning experience.
And you live in the Sierra and Emily and Aaron all live kind of in the Middletown area. I'm just going to broadly say. And Middletown is sort of a suburb of Cincinnati / Dayton, kind of in between the two. And so anyway, that's their homes. And unless things have changed very recently, Aaron is single. That's correct, I think.
Yep. For now.
So and we're looking. She's working on a part-time basis every month, a little different, but hopefully both she and Emily eventually could work full-time as we get more projects. That's the goal. Emily actually has another full-time job right now, so we'll move over to her and let her tell us about what she's up to and how some thoughts she has.
Yeah, so I work as contractor support for the environmental restoration team on Wright-Patterson Air Force Base on the side. But currently with my work with SEED, I work at the Vandalia site. Basically, we are sampling the wells to make sure that the contamination plume that was underneath the site is actually getting remediated and all the systems are working as they should be. And that's about it as far as I have for what I do.
Well, and these guys, they do a lot more, and they're amazing environmental and ecological scientists, as well as just Ecolonomic, lovers of the planet, and looking to do things right. You know, they've done phase 1 assessments, and they've done other phase 2 work. It's easy to focus on Vandalia because that's where they spend most of their time. But we are so blessed to have them with us. And over the next year, I'm going to see if we can get them more involved in our EAT program and hosting webinars, doing other things too. So that's why I wanted them to be on today and let you guys meet them also. And again, please throw in questions anytime you'd like, anybody who's on, about EAT, about any of us, or any of you, please. So quick last transition to me here, about a little more about me than you guys have learned, just because I just did over the last couple of weeks sort of a major remodel of my office, and none of my staff here have really seen this either. I'm going to grab my webcam and show you a few things, most of which you've heard me talk about as being things that are important to me in my life, and I can only probably move this webcam a certain distance, but we're going to give this a shot and look at this. Mark, why don't you turn the website off for a second again, so that the picture will be a little larger for people, and we'll turn it back on. So I did a number of things, but mainly I added a whole bunch of images around my office. So I have two monitors. This one I think is a 50-inch monitor that I have, and then this is another one next to it where you can see I'm actually doing a Craigslist ad right now for interns for EAT and for IOE and SEED here. And SEED is our parent organization, and IOE is our nonprofit. But this is kind of cool. This is my father, the picture on the right side there, I guess. And it is him before World War II, and that's a roster of his military group that he was with. My dad was a veteran and had 2 injuries in 4 years and won a bunch of awards, and very proud of him. Unfortunately, he died rather young, I think, because of environmental contamination that he had throughout his career. He was an aeronautical engineer and a test pilot. He flew fighter planes. So that's just that. So that is me as a much younger person. Actually, I think my first year in college, and so that's pretty cool. This is my favorite artist, Bev Doolittle, and it's a print of one of her paintings. And I'll get back up to that. I hope I don't pull all my stuff out here. Let me see. Okay, here we go. So that's a typical way she paints. So there's a lot more images in there than just a picture of the Indian chief on a horse. And then there's an eagle. You can see this reflection in the water. But when you look at it real carefully, you'll see that there's a lot more than even that that's there. And then here's another one of Doolittle, where look at what the snow makes. You see there, it's again a flying eagle. I'm a huge hockey fan, and particularly the Colorado Avalanche. So this is from their NHL title that they won, and that's Patrick Waugh up in the corner, and Joe Sakic down here in the bottom, and Peter Forsberg, and then there's their cards. This is a trophy that I won with a dog competition many years ago, 1980. But I still do things with the dogs. I wish I could get closer, but that's my family. When they were much younger, I had 4 children, and all adults, and 3 of them have children, so I have 7 grandchildren. My wife Deb's parents are over on the right-hand side. I really can't get a lot closer to that. And then that's specifically one of my daughters, Shannon, who she made that while she was in high school or something. I'm not sure exactly what. And there's our 3 daughters when they were obviously very little. I love eagles, and we have fortunately breeding grounds for eagles less than 2 miles from us. And so it's very common that we have 6 or 7 bald eagles that are flying around our particular area. That's another little picture I can't get any closer to of Whitney, who's our youngest daughter, and again, she is quite a bit younger. And then what else here? This is my mother, who, oops, let's see. There it is, focus. There we go. She unfortunately died a number of years ago now, but she was very healthy right up to almost when she died. She was close to 90. That's actually her maiden name, Wilmot, and it's you can't read it, but it's something that she got somewhere that supposedly Wilmot is an English name, and it is about about our code, or what would they call it? Let's see what it says. It is ancient history of the distinguished Wilmot family. So, and then that's my dad, very close to the time he died, unfortunately. In that picture there. And then here is my son, Dustin, when he was very little, with lots of kind of pictures. So these are pic photos that had not been up in my office ever before, just very recently. So, Arib and Mark, tell me if there's any questions coming across from the audience at any time.
I think there are no. Yeah. Go ahead, Mark.
All right, I'm going to put this webcam back on. There we go.
We don't see any questions,
that's a
but
Peloton. That's my Peloton that I ride behind me there, and my wife Deb does also. We used to have it in our living room, which we thought, oh, it's not a great place for it, so we moved it in here. But that by the way, we haven't had that long. I think we got it about 4 months ago, and we love it. And try to get a workout every day on it for a little bit of time at least. I see a question though. Let me see what that is from Josh here. Got to be using the right cursor though, because I'm looking at the wrong. All right.
Joshua asking, will you be discussing restoration farm financing?
Not today in any detail. We can discuss it briefly, but gosh, let's now go over each history just a little. We started on June 6, 2016, so we are about 5.5 years in. And Mark's going to know these numbers better than anybody, and these are a little bit of guesses. But how many did we do have we done, do you think, in total now, Mark, in those 5.5 years? Why don't you scroll down and show the table of contents real quick, Mark? Because this is a long way around your answering your question. We've done 30 webinars probably on restoration farming and probably the financing side. Nick Burton did webinars for us that were on financing. Will Harris has talked about financing. Hugh Goebel is actually a financial planner, and he did two different series with us, I think. Evan Folds talks about financing. Will Harris, I mentioned. Dale Dixon talks a little bit. Probably the most that we've had done are by the two fellows you're now seeing, Mark Shepard, and Mark did over 100 webinars with us. And back up again, Mark, to William Horvath. William Horvath did a whole series with us, and he talks about restoration, farm financing, and agriculture financing. And then scroll down, because I think a little bit lower is, Evan, I mentioned, Hugh, Alexi Ziegler talks about some financing, Alan Booker talks about some financing, and that, so, you know, I think I'm being very conservative. There's 50 webinars that we've done that you could get access to and be able to get good information on financing. If you have a speaker that knows anything about restoration farm financing or any topic that's economic, and Ecolonomic is things that make the planet better and show people how to make money doing it, we'd love to get those from you. Our biggest challenge is getting good speakers. By the way, this is on my farm. This is a market farm. That is all compost from alpaca manure and other things. It's about ready to be spread out on this particular field. It's about a 2-acre field that we have. It is a market farm here on the farm. So, Arif, I think you're the one who's going to talk about how many webinars did we do this last year?
I just counted all of them. We have done 93, including yours, basically. 93 webinars this year, basically. Okay. I thought it was probably in about that range, number-wise. Alicia, you are so cool. Alicia is one of our regulars, and she is always, not always, but here with us most of the time. She's from Virginia, and she's just awesome. She asks great questions. One of our biggest, my biggest wishes moving ahead is that we got more live attendees.
Yeah.
We never get as many as we'd like. We get lots of people. Within the first week of after we do a webinar, we usually get 100 or more views. And one of the things we started recently, and we are rolling out one a week, and I'm going to let Sierra and Mark talk about this, they're the ones who are doing all the work on it, is we've started podcasts. So maybe, Mark, while Sierra starts to talk about it, why don't you go to the web page where people can get our podcasts, all of which are free. You can also watch them from Spotify, from Google, and from Apple. And you can get them right off the website, which Mark's going to be showing in the background. So Sierra, why don't you talk about what we're doing with that?
Yeah, so we definitely just wanted to give our community and our users another way to get access to the information. So more of like a hand-free option. I don't know about you guys, but one of my favorite things to do is multitask. So a lot of the times I'll have a podcast going in the back, listening to something as I'm doing other things. So we really wanted to bring that option to the community. So what we've been doing is recreating some of our top or favorited interviews and sessions with some of the great educators and speakers and ecological influencers through time, and we've been making those available here, as you can see, as podcasts. So right now we are loading one out every Tuesday, and this is a great way to connect and circle back around with people that have done the interviews with us and make more connections and try to get involved with them. But you can find all of them here. You can listen on our website, and like Wayne said, Spotify, iTunes, and Apple is iTunes. So Spotify, iTunes, and Google. And then you also have the option to listen to the replays, but if you don't want to listen just from the site, you can do the podcast. So that's what those are there for, and those have been doing really well. We've had a lot of downloads, so those are doing good.
Mark, why don't you click on the EAT, because I think that will take to where you can see what it looks like just on the EAT web page, which, by the way, this is available for EAT-free members. So if you're at all, and when you sign up for a webinar, if it's the very first one that you come to, you will automatically be made an EAT-free member. So just scroll, Mark, so you can see some of the webinars there. We're going down to all episodes. And this was a series that we're doing right now where we're focusing on permaculture. So that's why you're seeing all these that are permaculture. Michael Cooley, for example, talks about refinancing, Joshua, also. Yeah. And we're just putting out one a week right now. And again, these are just audio. most of our webinars do have video in them, so you're going to miss a little bit when you just listen to them as podcasts. But still, as Sierra said, if you're a multitasker, it's a great way to just have something on in the background. This is one that was a great one. He also probably talks a little bit about financing. So we usually try to bring the financing into as many of our webinar speakers that are involved in doing something with the land as possible. So that just shows some of those. Mark, what else did we start doing this year that's different and new? Yeah, that's something we hadn't been doing as much, and we're spending more. That's great, Mark, that you bring that up. And Sierra and Mark are really sort of leading this. So. So Joshua, great question. Joshua asks, so to access all recorded content, you need to upgrade from the free membership. Is that correct? That is correct. And there are two different kinds of paid memberships. One is Eat Pro, and it's $10 a month, $9.99 a month. And that gives you access to everything. And you will be able, every webinar we've ever done. And you can, there's no contract for it. You can keep it for a week. You can keep it for a month. You can keep it for, you're going to pay for a month. But, and a lot of people will not keep it that long, maybe 4, 5, 6 months, and they'll download everything that they find that they're interested in. Because Mark, show them a post on Eat Pro. Why don't you open up the Eat Pro while he's doing that? I'll keep talking. The other membership you could upgrade to is our Elite membership. This is one of the changes we're thinking about for 2022, and that's that we have about 815 Elite members. Is that correct, Arib? I think the last time I looked, that's in that range. Of those, probably 200 have acquired our membership in our Eat Elite program through some kind of acquisition. And we've had lots of different specials through the years, and where you would get not just the Eat Elite, you would get edited courses that we've done for various of our speakers. And Mark, go down to the table of contents so that people can, and then just pick a random webinar when you get down there and just let people see what it looks like. But the Elite program has typically ranged in price from about $750 to $1,200. And again, depending on whatever specials that we have. And one thing we're thinking about is maybe making a fourth kind of a membership, which is going to cost a lot less. Oh, by the way, that Elite membership's for life. And we have payment plans, so people can pay for it monthly, they can pay for it quarterly, there's different ways they can buy it. Just click on any one of those, Mark. Pick up Mark Shepard's one, pick any one of those. Just show one of them. So we're in the Eat Pro site that you saw earlier, and then Mark, go down into the post itself. You know what? There's where you would watch it by clicking there. I think I want to state that on ePro, you'd have to figure out, and we're not going to give you these hints, you can figure these out yourself, but how you would screenshot that probably as you're playing it, and that way you could download it, because that's not something we do have on. So open up the Eat Elite site, Mark, and we'll show what's different, because you'll see on Eat Elite, it is actually downloadable right from the site. And just go to that, Mark. Yeah, you'll keep working on that. But we're thinking about doing something to where maybe it's 200 or 300 for a membership that's not quite the same thing that people have already paid $750 to $1,200 for, because we want to keep them. They paid that. We want to treat them special for that. But where you get most of what you would get, you would definitely get all the content. You would be able to download. So Mark's going to go to us. So just go to one here. Go to the same one, Mark Shepard. It was number 4 or 5 that you just looked at. No, I think it was Forest Ecology, wasn't it? Yeah, Forest Ecology. I think it was part 4. Well, except, look, you can download the video. And go down further, because the other thing you have available is you can actually just listen to it also, of all of them. So that's a little bit like a podcast, but you can download that also. So if all you wanted is the audio, you could download that. And what we also do for elite members is go into my library, Mark, and click up there, and there's going to be some courses in there. Mark, it's up right by the Eat store up there. So click on Profitable Backyard Aquaculture. And you can click on just resume the course or so this is a course that I taught. I believe we've transcribed a lot of this. So when we turn these series of talks into courses, and we sell the courses separately. So you can buy this course as a $10 course, a $25 course, and a $100 course, and you get more for each one. But just click on any one of those different ones, Mark, I want to see if they're transcribed. Click on the Backyard Introduction Part 2. Not the assessment. I know, it's all right. There we go. And assessments. That's something new that Kajabi added in a year or so, the last year. And we are going to be using that more to where, so when we do courses, we break them up into 20-minute or less sessions so that you can look at, we put an index so you can see what's there. I mean, we do more work on it. So just so we want to make it easier and easier. And some of them have transcription. This one doesn't. We're doing one right now for environmental consulting that, don't we have almost all those transcriptions already done, Sierra?
Yep.
Okay. Yes, there is a forum. This is Joshua asking a question again, where, again, we've used Facebook a lot, and we do have our own private Facebook pages. Marie, why don't you talk about those, what we have there real quick?
Okay, so we have 2 different kind of private Facebook pages where we have the community members. One is Eat Free, and one is for the Eat Elite members. So, but mostly the interaction has been in the Eat Free Facebook group. And you can go in, and we always update all the new ones. Whatever we are doing that week or in next 2 weeks, we always give an update there, where like who will be a guest speaker for the coming weeks. And you can always find people there and talk to each other. You can communicate there. And I remember one thing, Wayne, that I think we had the capability of people conversating on the platform, on e-platform too, right?
By the way, stop right there for a minute. Mark, go back to that worldwide aquaculture picture. That's my ranch 16 years ago. If you saw it now, you wouldn't even, I mean, that was when we started to build a pond. We now have 22 ponds here. No, Mark, it was back on where you were before. Don't worry about it if you can't find it. But, so continue, Arif. I just wanted to point that picture out.
Okay. So, yeah. So, for Eat Free, I think there is a free membership. Basically, if you are part of Eat Free member, you can request us, or we can make you a member of this group, private group, basically. It's not open to everyone. For Eat Elite, you have either to subscribe for Eat Pro, like for the monthly payment, or for the complete payment, the lifetime payment. And that way we will be able to make you the member of the Eat Elite Facebook group. So,
and we also have a forum inside of the platform directly for Eat Free. And Mark, it's going to take Mark a second, but go back to Eat Free and you'll see that you can, we actually will make you a member of that forum also. That's probably my second thing I'd like to see more of. I'd like to see more people come to our webinars live, but I'd also like to see our members communicate back and forth with each other more than we do.
Exactly.
And that could either be done on Facebook, or it could be done on the forum that we have ourselves. So we use a tool called Kajabi. Look at the cat tail, and Emily's there. That was fun. The Kajabi is an amazing platform for communities, and we used to use a bunch of different ones, and we decided we'd just stick with Kajabi. There's also ones out there called Coursera and all different kinds. But I know the founders of Kajabi, they've been really good to us. They currently charge about $10,000 a year for new members. We pay $1,000 a year, so you stick with something that you get, you know, when you're loyal to somebody. It's a little bit like what we believe about our elite members also, that we want to be loyal to them when they're loyal to us. But second wish, I think we would have more people that would communicate with one another, you know, back and forth. One thing we do really well is opens for email. Thank you, all of you. All of you obviously probably opened an email to get into this webinar today. In the internet marketing world, when you send out an email, if it's large at all, and ours are large, we have 30,000 plus sometimes members. If we send emails, different things. If you get a 10% open rate, that's considered outstanding. Amazing, really good. 8 and 9% is more normal. We've been getting over the last, 6 months probably now, Mark, 20 to 30%. Really great open. People are opening our emails, and that's really good. So, and we appreciate you. So that's not something that we'd like to improve. We appreciate everything you're doing. Joshua says something like a subreddit. You know, Reddit's a great community. There are others out there that are like, here's the Eat Community Forum. I just noticed there, Mark, we got work to do down there on that offer. So we should put some other, we didn't finish that. We've been giving it to people free, so we actually put them into it ourselves. So how many members there? So look at number of people, see how many we have. I don't even remember. click on the People tab. You're looking inside Kajabi right now. Mark, you had it right there. Go back to that page you were on. Click on People on the left-hand side, Mark. People. I just want to see how many we have that we've actually added. You're not so, oh, here it comes. Take a look. So almost all of our members, 29,705. And we've got a lot that have, about some that have opted out, but anyway. So we do that automatically. I just wanted to make sure. We're very close now to 30,000. You can see the number there, 29,705. So that's pretty cool. Let's talk about, since I just saw it there, something else that we're going to do in 2022 more of, which is assessments. I mentioned that. We haven't done very many there, but we're going to do more of that. And I just lost my brain for a second. Emily, I'm going to just call you for a second. Why don't you quickly just say any thoughts you have for the audience about any of our ventures? Oh, I know what it was, Mark. I was going to have you show the EPN website real quick, the EPN Kajabi page, and VA365. So remember, we're going to talk about VA365 right after this. But Emily, why don't you just give some thoughts, anything that you might have about EAT, EPN, C, our environmental consulting, or where you do most of your work, anything.
I think for the most part, since social media kind of dominates people's news feed, it's kind of replaced a news feed, I guess. Our presence there, the fact that we're trying to commit to having social media presence kind of shows that we're growing and that kind of more transparent about what we're doing with all of our lectures and everything like that.
Cool.
Yeah, so this is really good. Just kind of following up on what Emily said, getting involved with the social media. Like I was saying earlier, I've been working with Wayne since March of 2019, and this is really my first year where I worked full-time all year long, being involved in EAT stuff, and mainly my role is doing outreach along with social media, marketing, and that thing. But I really found a love for the relationships that I built with people through this last year, and just learning about the little things that everybody can do that brings joy to themselves, their families, and their own communities, that's really making such a great impact on such a big scale. And it's really just the day-to-day connection and feeling other people's energy and being excited about it, like connecting with others who really love the same things that I love, like nature and being outside and everything the planet has to offer, which is why I am in this field anyways. So over the last year, I just want to kind of do a little recap and say that it's been an awesome experience, and I've met so many people that I would otherwise have never even encountered. So being here with the EAT community has just been awesome.
Awesome. Aaron, what are just some thoughts that you have about all of what we do and what your involvement's been in?
Yeah, I really enjoy just hopping on some of the different webinars that you guys have and learning about different environmental stuff that people are doing as well, like Sierra was saying. And I was just looking at the library that you have up, and there's hundreds, I don't know how many videos that you guys have. And it's pretty cool. It looks like you're organizing them by category, so you can kind of go to whatever category you're interested in and see thoughts from different presenters and stuff. So it's pretty cool stuff.
So Mark's got up on the screen now the Environmental Professional Network community, which we started this last year in about May, so it's relatively new. We have kind of put it on hold a little just because we just had many other things we were working on. But the intent of it is to allow people to work together that already are involved in the environmental industry but don't want to go to work for some big firm. Instead, they want to work on a small basis, their own one-person business or maybe just several, and yet they still want to do big projects. And with EPN, they can partner with other people that are also members, and they can do that. And so you should check this website out. I think it's epncommunity.com. Is that right, Mark? What's the actual web name? We haven't talked much about it, but we're going to do more of that in 2022. Right. And you can also get there through our blog websites, which we haven't talked at all about. That's the other thing we've done a lot of work on this year. So, Mark, why don't you even pull up the EPN website, which is actually EPN Environmental Professionals Consulting, which is a longer web name, but then pull up maybe even IOE's site. So we publish blog articles just about every week, don't we, Sierra? Sierra and Mark do, again, most of the work on this. And we publish articles that we write, and we publish articles that other people write for us. And they're all free. And again, you can get to it through the EAT site, or you can go to it just independently.
Yeah, the blog site
We
is
have a
a
lot.
way to keep up with current events in different sectors and individual sectors like aquaculture and regenerative agriculture and all of that. Like, we always post blogs and they're pretty up to date with information. So it's a nice way to stay current with everything.
So here's the EPN site and just our blog. But then there's also one for IOE that if Mark was on the EAT site right now, he could click on the blog and we would go to that. But here you can see we had one on November 10th and 3rd, 29th of September. So we try to do one a week or so on EPN, but we do them on IOE site, Institute of Ecolonomics, sometimes 2 or 3 a week. So here he's on ecolonomics.org now. So let's see when these were done. I don't think he puts dates right on these, so you have to click on them. But all this is really good information, again, that's not duplicated. These aren't our speakers. These are completely different people and staff that are writing articles. And each one of these is completely unique content for you. Why don't you, lastly, and we've done a lot today, go to the VA 365, which is still under construction. It's not available yet, but we're very close to being able to offer VA services, virtual assistant services. And Mark and Areeb will be overseeing that. And this is going to be very unique because we're going to make sure that these people do work that you appreciate and that you think is worthy of you paying, and at considerably less price than having somebody here in the state. So Mark, Areeb, why don't you start and talk about what our concept is? It's a little different. By the way, you can see it in the, whatever's on your ceiling there makes it look like you have a hat on or a square hat. Your ceiling fan. Yeah.
It's a ceiling fan. So we at 365, I think we kind of started working on this, I think, last year. And it's a venture really close to my heart because initially I pitched this idea to Mark and Wayne that we can do something like this, because I have been working with Wayne for the last 7 years now. Mark has been working as a VA for more than 10. And we have a good synergy here. Like, we kind of share a bond and we are able to make a lot of work done, financially plus the resource wise too. So we thought that why cannot we replicate this thing and we provide this opportunity to both the clients plus the people who will be working here. So any kind of job, either it's accounts, it's graphic design, it's web design, it's admin services, or calendar handling, your schedule handling. We give this opportunity to find, like in US people or Canada, who can we will be like, you will be talking to us about your needs, like what exactly you need, and we will be finding resources for you here, and we will be providing the VAs to you, which will be quite helpful for, I think, both ways. For it will be far less than what you pay in US, and it will be quite a lot for the girl or the guy here in Pakistan, Bangladesh, or anywhere we will be able to find the correct VA. So we will be working on, as per your needs, we will find the right person for you, will hire them, and we will be able to give you that service. So that's the model which we are trying to accomplish, like launch here basically. And it's not like Upwork. I think if anyone is familiar with Upwork, Wayne can tell you that it's quite different from Upwork, because Upwork is kind of a middleman, but for us, we will be mostly, it's about the resources, and we are trying to help. We are trying to create a platform where we can help these people who are educated, but because of third world problems, they are not getting the right opportunities, job opportunities. So we are trying to create jobs for people, and in the best manner we can.
Awesome. By the way, guys, I have a hard stop today at 3 Mountain, and it's 2:56. Joshua asked another great question. I'm going to give my answer to it. And then I would say we'll hang around. I'm going to jump off, but Mark will keep the webinar open if you guys don't mind hanging around for just a little while longer. I'd actually like you to dialogue a little bit without me anyway. So just chat amongst yourselves. But real quick, Joshua, you said, what are your favorite strategies for people who want to make the biggest impact from an economic perspective? What a great question. Now, Mike, by the way, I use a phone to dial in rather than the internet, because I have a rather slow internet and my webcam will slow it down. And this phone's going dead, so it's beeping at me. It'll probably last to just for me to answer your question here, and then I'd have to get another one that's charged. But I've noticed over the last 2 years with the pandemic how much hostility there is in the world, and how much people become almost hateful in the way that they discuss topics that are controversial. We've got to get away from that. We've got to get back to where if you have a view and it's 180 degrees opposite of mine, that I don't have to agree with it. Matter of fact, hopefully you will appreciate and maybe even respect that I don't agree with it, but you will still dialogue with me as if we were best friends. So my dad used to say this. He said, hate the sin if you think something's wrong, and love the sinner. And we just don't see that happen. We hope that in economics, that there are two sides to a lot of different coins, two ways that science can be applied in many cases, and therefore it's prudent and respectful and something we have to get back to in the world, which is my opinion, which is honest, open, 180 degree opposed dialogue. It just needs to be that way. So I think moving ahead, Joshua, there's going to be lots of jobs out there. There's going to be places to change in things that you do in your life that revolve around that, because we have to get back to that. If we don't get back to that, there's going to be some real ugliness on the planet, wars and things. And it's hating the sin and hating the sinner together. It starts wars. And unfortunately, Mark and Arif live in parts of the world where a lot more of that happens. Miramar, right next door, countrywide, to where Mark is. Arif, right next door to Afghanistan, where things have been horrid. And even in your lifetime, things haven't been great all the time in Pakistan, have they? I mean, there were some times, probably when you were pretty young, when it wasn't as the community was more hostile, right?
Exactly. I think it has been 4 or 5 years since we were able to get back to the peace part. Other than that, I think I told you at one point that bombing or hearing a bomb got off, it was something really normal for us. We used to hear it every day. So we don't used to go out from house because my mother used to get a lot of worry. But then we had to do something. We had to go, and my mom was used to like always calling me and asking, "Where are you?" So we have seen that situation, and something horrible happened. It was so normal for us that we just had to keep going on with our lives. And I think because of our forces, I think I will comment on that. I think we are proud of them for our army that they have worked hard on cleaning the cities, cleaning the Pakistan cities with these Talibans and these bombings and horrible stuff going on. So I think last 2 or 3 years 4 years has been peaceful. Before that, it used to be chaotic every time, every day.
Wow.
So
I'm going to jump off. Joshua, we're going to connect with you separately and help you a little bit, but absolutely there are areas that are better to change career paths in, and those are the worst. And that's not a simple answer. There's more to it than that. But for example, right now, the environmental industry that we've talked some about, it isn't just ecological, but contaminated properties. There's going to be more and more jobs in that area. The way to probably introduce yourself is to do an internship somewhere or work part-time while you're working full-time doing something else. Emily's working full-time now at Wright-Patterson, and she works part-time for us. You need to be willing to probably step out and do more than you would just normally if you're going to make a career change. I think that's going to always be the case. I'm going to jump off. My phone's going dead. Plus, I've got people coming to the ranch here to do a live event with me, and I need to get with them. But you guys stay on, and Mark, when you're ready to get off, jump off. And Alicia said something very cool. We need to minimize hate in the world. Yeah, that's huge. So anyway, I'm going to jump, but you guys stay on.
Yeah, Joshua, just kind of following up to what Wayne said, I know in your comment you're talking about doing big things, such as changing your career path and moving to a new area. But you can do something so small that makes such a huge impact, which is just raising awareness. There are so many people that just don't understand the severity of the situation that we're in with the planet. So just something so simple as just, telling a friend about a product that you like that might be slightly sustainable than the thing that they were using yesterday, or just opening up people's minds and opening up the conversation in a friendly way.
And I think I will comment on that in a way that the last few months we have been doing these webinars where we are finding these amazing people, one from India, one from Bali, and they are doing some amazing kind of work. And the best we can do is that we can, by word of mouth, we can promote them. And I think in that path we will find something for ourselves, that if it's something we can do too in our own community, I think that's just taking the chart from there, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, initially when I started, I think I didn't knew anything about environment. Even these days, when you're talking environmentally, like Chinese is happening somewhere. Like, what is this? What are they talking about? But then it's like when you are talking, it's making sense. It is always making sense in a way. Okay, this thing happened from the obviously I don't know the its and bits of those things, but yeah, it's fun to learn about these things. And someday, if someone asks me about, "Who do you know about this thing?" Yeah, I have worked with people.
Yeah.
You know, it's that is fun. Are there, if you guys have any more questions, you can send it out, and if not, I think we will be wrapping it up in like next 2 minutes. Any last comments, Sierra, Aaron, Emily?
Just thanks to the community for being a part of it.
Great. And yeah, I think my last comment will be too, because if you're watching these webinars, go find us on Instagram. We have people on Facebook, but we need Instagram following now. Sierra has been working hard. We have just recently started an Elite account, and I think all the credit goes to Sierra for that. Plus, finding the 90% of the speakers, guest speakers for this year, I think she did a great job on that, and we were able to find such diverse people to interview, to have their presentations, and to know about. So thank you so much for that, Sierra. And yeah, go find us on Instagram.
Bye, everyone. Thanks for jumping on.
Thank you so much, guys.